if Wade were back, A&M would have beat Alabama. If Wade were back, A&M would have beat Kentucky. I just don't know that I'm ready to go there yet. Could they have? It would have certainly increased their opportunities and chances to win the game. But I'm more concerned about OB, and tell me, and this is, you do this with me on baseball topics sometimes, tell me why I shouldn't be concerned about the rebounding.
Well, because, all right, you're a baseball guy, and the team you're going to be covering is probably going to average between 8 and 10 runs a game. But they're not always going to score 8 to 10 runs. There's going to be some games where they might even get shut out. There's going to be some games where they might get 1 or 2 runs, because over the course of a long season, there are peaks and valleys, and that includes rebound. Look, I think this team's going to rebound. They're going to rebound more often than they don't. More often than not, they're going to have the advantage on the boards, but it's not going to be every single night. Now, when they get Wade back, I don't know, that might actually help the rebounding. And just in terms of the shot selection, maybe changes and you're in better position, all those things. But they're going to rebound. My biggest concern is, can they score? And when you get Wade Taylor back, I still don't think that makes you an offensive juggernaut like you see at Alabama or Kentucky. But I think what it does is Wade does make you a more dangerous offensive team. Plus, if Wade was in the game against Alabama, they don't miss 20 free throws.
That's another question is, like, yeah, sure, he increases and improves your free throw percentage, but that was my next question to you. Okay, you give me reason not to worry about the rebounding. Why shouldn't I worry about the free throw shooting? Because, baseball analogy again, and I brought this up to Richard yesterday in the back. Part of what has made Buzz successful at Texas A&M is his team's ability to get to the line, and how many times have they won the game at the charity stripe? If a lot of times it feels like they're getting 15, 18, 20 points at the free throw line.
Yeah.
To me, and this is no different than Texas A&M baseball, the walks that they accumulate is part of their offense. So this team, basketball, is getting to the free throw line, and they're really struggling, and it's affecting their win-loss. It's like A&M baseball getting to 3-2 counts, and then they swing at ball 4 a bunch. Without Wade, it feels like to me, watching them, that the ball is getting stuck with the point guard too often.
You're absolutely correct. Good take.
Okay, thank you.
Keep speaking. But it's kind of weird, though, that is how it flows, because Wade takes a lot of shots. And I still think he takes some ill-advised shots. But with him not on the court, you see how the defense changes and the way that they guard this team. I mean, you take, for example, against Kentucky. Kentucky had 19 assists. A&M had 4.
Yeah.
4 assists the entire game.
That's
one every 10 minutes.
That was kind of that was the crux of me thinking that the ball's getting stuck, because if the ball's moving, even on a bad night, you're going to get more than 4 dimes like that.
But at the same time, even on a bad night, you should shoot better than 7 for 30 from the 3-point line. And they shot less than 40% from the field, less than 25% from the 3-point line. It was not a good game for A&M, and yet they didn't get absolutely destroyed.
Oh, they hung around.
They hung around there.
It's a credit to their tenacity.
Absolutely, they fight.
Yeah,
and they scrap, and they made it hard for Kentucky. Now, at the end of the day, I think Kentucky's size, Kentucky's athletic ability, and the fact that they had a point guard on the floor, they had that floor general that was just directing through the chaos that A&M's defense set up, is what set them apart.
Another observation that I had was it just seemed like against Bama and against Kentucky, and maybe Oklahoma was doing it a little bit too. I think Oklahoma was more of a product. They shot, that's the best they're going to shoot the entire year. But against Bama and against Kentucky, it seemed like there was an emphasis from those sides saying, if A&M makes a basket, get the ball out of the net and up the floor before they can get set.
One, that's how both of those teams play.
Okay.
It wasn't just that's against A&M. 2, those are both top 10 teams.
Yeah.
So it's not like A&M was favored to win by 15 or even by 5.
I'll be honest, listen, and I'll be the 1,000th guest that you have this week that kind of makes the joke about Notre Dame becoming like the underdog feel-good story. And I think we've all kind of grown to like and appreciate Marcus Freeman during this run. But I look at the matchups, and I just think it's really tough for Notre Dame. I mean, we know that their pass game is limited. I think the other thing, too, and this was a conversation that we had dating back to knowing that we were going to have a 12-team college football playoff, was the conversations about depth, right? And you look at Notre Dame, starting left tackle is officially ruled out for this game. Jeremiah Love, their star running back, had a big knee brace on. Best defensive lineman has been out since the Georgia game. I just think those injuries are starting to take a toll on this team, and I don't know that they have the depth. Ohio State, it's weird. It's like they did have injuries, but they were early, and they kind of figured out a way to coach around them, like especially on the O-line. And it does feel like Ohio State's peaking. I just think it's a really, really, really tough spot. So I think Ohio State not only wins, but I know the point spread's about like 8.5. So I'll say Ohio State like 24, Notre Dame 14. Like I said, Notre Dame has become imminently likable with Marcus Freeman, but I just think it's a tough ask. By the way, especially with the way Ohio State's been playing over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
If you feel like a kid's dead set to go somewhere, or you're battling head to head with a rival, how do I create some doubt about the other place?
Yeah, yeah, and these are kids. These are kids who can't, who probably haven't gotten to that point in life where they go, 99% of the things I see on the internet are complete nonsense.
Yeah,
but
they're naive about those things.
There's some naivety there. But the
oh boy.
Yeah, I tried a big word. I'm
Chew
sorry.
through that one.
I'm sorry. Hey, forgive me. We'll cut this out.
Don't ask him to define it.
Hopefully.
Much less spell it.
Fact is that but I always kind of wondered that. Do they? I mean, like, I know some of these kids have to look at this stuff.
All is fair in love and recruiting.
No, 100%.
Golly, that's crazy.
No, it's as cutthroat as it gets.
Yes, and having dipped my toe, I guess even more than dipped my toe, having dove headfirst into both the baseball recruiting world and the football recruiting world. And I mean, I've told Mike earlier this to his face. The recruiting portal last summer for baseball was crazy because of the coaching change and coming off the College World Series, all that stuff. It is elementary school playground compared to this football stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The stories, I mean, somebody that does what I do or Jason does.
You need to write a book.
Somebody's going to.
Yeah.
Somebody is, once they're done with their time as a recruiting analyst,
burn it down.
They're going to write a book. By that point, you won't be able to burn it down because it'll be all stuff in the past. And we're not going, it was almost better. I hate to say this, but it was almost better when it was all done under the table and nobody knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you were just giving Eric Dickerson Trans Ams and he was going to SMU instead. You know, like that was, it was almost, you almost kind of want to go back to that because what we've got now, where does it stop?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely the problem.
And how do you put the toothpaste back in the tube?
You just don't.
Well, the NCAA can't handle basic things, so they can't get a toothpaste back
right.
in the tube.
But it's their fault
it is.
For not having the foresight. Everybody could see this was coming a million miles away.
Right.
And they sat on their hands, and now they've become feckless for all intents and purposes. They've got no governing power because if I'm the NCAA, as soon as I tell Matt Browning he can't do something, you go to the courts. Mm-hmm. And the courts say, yes, you can.